Member of the Pope's private staff. But today, the Vatican ordered Pope Benedict's former butler to stand trial on charges of aggravated theft for leaking documents alleging corruption in the highest quarters of the Holy See. A computer expert has also been charged as the Vatican claimed Paolo Gabriele was not acting alone. Now, he could face up to 6 years in jail unless he's granted a papal pardon. Sarah Motion reports.
He says he acted because he saw evil and corruption everywhere in the church. According to a 35-page document compiled by the Vatican itself, Paolo Gabriele has admitted to stealing documents from the Pope's private quarters and passing them on to journalists.
The
judge declared the partial closing of the preliminary investigation, ordered Mr. Paolo Gabriele to stand trial for grand theft.
Press coverage exposing power struggles inside the secret state have been making the headlines since the beginning of the year. Then, in May this year, a book titled His Holiness used the leaked information detailing corruption, conspiracies and cronyism amongst Catholic cardinals.
These are the sources, people who have decided to become informants. They didn't regularly give information to newspapers. Evidently there was an accumulation of things that they didn't understand or couldn't stand.
Paolo Gabriele began working at the Vatican in 1998, serving as butler to Pope John Paul II before Pope Benedict XVI. As the papal butler, he had unique access to the papal offices and private apartments, access journalists and the faithful crave, but hidden from the world's eyes. Paolo Gabriele would serve the Pope his meals and even help him dress. The Vatican's internal investigation quotes Gabriele and is careful to emphasize the Pope himself isn't linked to any of the corruption. He says he was trying to help root it out because the Pope was not sufficiently informed. He goes on, "I was sure that a shock, perhaps by using the media, could be a healthy thing to bring the church back on the right track. But it's a shock to the church that could end up seeing him spending 6 years in jail for grand theft. Although the Pope has the ability to pardon his formerly loyal servant at any time." This isn't the first scandal to strike the Vatican, shrouded in secrecy and criticised for promoting a culture of cover-ups.
The Church has had historically difficulties with openness. I would absolutely accept that. But it's made huge gains in being more open at a national level, at parishes in this country, in Europe and beyond. And we expect that from the Holy See as well.
Tonight, the Vatican has told Channel 4 News that what the butler saw will be revealed in a public trial.
Sam Mawson reporting. Well, now, shortly before we came on air, I spoke to Fabrizio Noli. He is based at the Vatican for Italy's Rai Radio, and I asked him whether the trial was one the Vatican did not want but would have to have anyway.
Maybe the Vatican didn't want it, but Pope Benedict XVI is always seeking for truth and, how could we say, for truth and justice. That's his purpose, at least in the latest years.
The trouble is that the truth in the Vatican, and this has been true for many decades, there is trouble in the Vatican, there is corruption in the Vatican.
That's why this Pope seems to be very isolated and lonely in many ways. And I honestly agree with you on the point that it's going to be a long, long story. We are just facing like the first round, the first set of a very long Wimbledon final game. That's my opinion. It's not going to be easy at all to find out the truth.
The leaks, of course, appeared in the Italian media and caused enormous embarrassment to the Vatican.
Absolutely, and particularly because the former butler, this Paolo Gabriele, was in a way part of the inner circle of the Pope establishment. He was really connected to the Pope, who considered him like a son, in a way, like an acquired son. In a way, the psychologists who met this guy have stated that, today it came out during the press conference, that he's a bit a fragile personality. In a way, he believed to be like the weapon of the Holy Spirit to purify the church. So when someone considers himself like this, he can't be considered totally 100% normal if normality exists, let's say it this way.
But you see, you say that the Pope wants to get to the truth, but the truth has never been got to in the Vatican. I mean, I have to confess, I was a correspondent in Rome in the late 1970s, and they were dealing with massive corruption then in the Vatican Bank. And there's no real reason to think that they're going to get to the bottom of it this time.
Yeah, I think that the truth maybe emerges or surfaces after decades. Let's see this way. For example, even about the big scandal, the tragic scandal of pedophilia, at least this Pope tried to do something, tried to punish the responsible of this enormous loss of credibility for the Catholic Church. So at least let's say that he's trying to do something.
Fabrizio,